Today's fairy tale comes from Egypt, and it's not only full of spooky magic and involves jealous sisters, but the most important thing a woman can do in a fairy tale besides be pretty, have babies. There's a king who wants to figure out if his subjects love him or not, and the way he decides to do this is to make an edict for everyone to turn their lights off one night, and then he's gonna go out around town and see who has their lights on. So he and his vizier disguise themselves as merchants, and they go around and they do see a house with its lights on, so they go and peer through the window, and there's three beautiful girls weaving inside. The first one says, if the king were to marry me, I would bake him a cake that would feed him and his whole army. The second girl goes, well, if the king were to marry me, I would weave him a carpet that could seat him and his whole army. The third one says, if he married me, I would bear him Sit El Hassoun, which means mistress of beauty, a girl who's really beautiful, and clever Muhammad, a really clever son. And their hair would be of gold and silver. The king summons the first daughter to him in the morning, and he's like, why'd you disobey me with the light? And she's like, we're orphans, we have to weave or we'll starve. And he's like, oh, okay, I forgive you. Also, I'm gonna marry you. After the wedding night, he says, all right, time to bake me that cake for me and my army. But the girl laughed and said, one of my favorite responses, did you believe this? Night talk is covered with butter. It melts when the sun rises. So the king immediately divorces her, marries the second sister. The same thing happens with her. After the wedding night, he's like, weave me that carpet, and she says the same thing. Night talk is covered with butter, it melts with the morning. I'm not really gonna do that. You were dumb for believing me. So he marries the third daughter, and right after the wedding night, she gets pregnant. 9 months later, gives birth to a boy and a girl with gold and silver hair. However, before the king can find out what she has done, the only women who know that she's given birth to what she promised, her two sisters, who are super jealous now, and the midwife, are like, nah, we're gonna mess this up for her. They take the babies, put them in a box, nail it, and throw it in the river. And then they replace them with a female kitten and a male puppy. And then they go to the king and they're like, your wife gave birth to a cat and a dog. This is a common trick in lots of folklore. Sometimes they'll replace it with a stone and be like, she gave birth to a rock. King's like, well, God's grant is always good, so we're gonna just keep these children and feed them and they'll be my prince and princess, but I want my wife to go home with you. She's in disfavor, get her out of here. Of course, thankfully, the two children thrown into the river end up okay. Their box washes up on the shore of a fisherman and his wife who have no children, and they're like, look at these beautiful children with silver and gold hair, we're gonna raise them. The two children grow up happy, they have a special bond, and the girl's kind of got some magic. Whenever she's sad and crying, it rains, and so if her brother is somewhere else, he knows to come and help her if it rains. And of course, through magic/providence, the parents knew what to name them, and they still go by the same names. When they're teenagers, the fisherman tells the son, hey, I'm gonna die on this specific day, he knows, and when I'm dead, look under my pillow, there's 2 horse hairs, and if you rub them together ever, they will help you. So then he dies, the son gets the horse hairs, saves them for a rainy day. A day his sister cries. Same thing happens with the mom and the daughter. The mom is like, hey, I'm gonna die on this day, look under my pillow when I'm dead. You'll find this purse that will fill with 10 pounds every day. And yes, my translation of the story says pounds. I'm sure it was originally some other form of money. This comes to pass, and the brother and sister move to town and use this money that she has every day to build an awesome castle next to the king's castle. The king comes out to check out their palace one day and then meets clever Muhammad, and he thinks he's awesome, loves the daughter, and he starts hanging out with Muhammad, and they go fishing and they go hunting and they just have a fun time together. Somehow, even though they have the names that his wife promised and they have gold and silver hair, it does not occur to him that these are his children, but the two jealous sisters, they know what's up, so they start plotting to get rid of clever Muhammad. He's the biggest threat, so they need to get rid of him first, worry about the daughter later. They visit the daughter and they're like, your palace would be perfect if you had the dancing bamboo. And so she starts to cry, the brother comes home and he's like, why are you crying? And she's like, I need this dancing bamboo. And he's like, I will go on a quest to get it. The bamboo is guarded in an ogre's garden, so he has to climb this wall, get in, and once he gets the bamboo talks and starts screaming, help, I'm being stolen. So the ogre chases after him, but our dude's fast and he gets away, brings it home to his sister. So then their aunts come over and they're like, oh, that bamboo's okay, but this palace is really still ugly without the singing water. So the girl cries, he's gonna go get this singing water for her now. The same thing happens with another ogre. He gets the singing water, he brings it back. So now they've got this bamboo in their garden that's dancing, and they've got a fountain with this water that's always singing. But of course the ants come over and they're like, no, you need one more thing or this garden's a shame. You need to get the talking lark. So he sets out for it. And there's this old woman who has helped him on the 2 previous journeys. And when he tells the old woman what he's going for this time, she goes, son, someone wants you dead. He's like, no, I have to go for my sister. And she's like, I literally cannot help you this time. I don't even know where it is. So the boy goes home sad, but then he remembers those 2 horse hairs that his dad gave him. He rubs them together, and then this horse appears. It's a talking horse and the son of the king of the jinn. The horse says this lark belongs to this magical, scary woman named Ishi Aor, the long-haired lady. He says, I'll take you there, and then you need to get a sheep, cut it in 4 pieces. There'll be 2 lions guarding the place, but give them each a piece. Then 2 dogs guarding the place, give them each a piece, and the lions and dogs will talk to you, but you cannot talk to them. Then the woman will try to talk to you. Don't talk to her, because if you do, you will turn to stone. So Muhammad goes there, does all that stuff, and he sees there are tons of stone people around who have failed before. But he doesn't respond to the animals or creepy woman, and then he comes up to the lark, which is almost inside a cage. It's sitting on the outside, and the lark is talking hard. I'm so tired. Isn't there someone who will tell me rest? Isn't there someone who will say to me sleep? Come on, talk, 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 Muhammad. And it annoys Muhammad so much, he finally yells, oh my God, be quiet, and that turns him to stone. Now back home, his sister knows something is up, and so she goes out on the journey herself, and I love that she is not only as brave as him, but actually smarter. She finds the horse, gets the same direction, cuts up the sheep, does everything, and she sees her brother, who is stoned now, and when she gets to the lark, she doesn't listen to it. Because she was cleverer than her brother, she just stands there and waits for the lark to stop talking, and finally the lark gives up and just goes, all right, and gets in the cage. As soon as she closes the cage, her brother and everyone else come back to life. Woohoo! She and her brother get on the horse, ride back to town. Then the lark tells them, hey, give a big party for the king where you can show me to everyone. So they do, and the king and the ants and everyone show up at this party. They bring out the talking lark, and the king's like, oh my gosh, a talking lark. And the lark's like, yeah, shut up and listen to me. Bring that midwife who delivered your children. Because one of my favorite parts is he has raised the dog and cat as his children, and they're like dressed in gowns and like sitting at the table. But they do what the lark says, bring in the midwife. The lark gets her to confess that they threw the kids in the river, replaced them with the dog and cat. And the king said to his people, he who loves the chosen prophet should set fire to the midwife and the ants. And they burned them. And the king brought his wife back and restored her. Then he and his children lived happily forever. I've told a version of this story from India, and there are a lot of places in Asia and the Middle East that have a similar story type. The children have different magical features, like a star on their forehead or something like that. But this is the only one where the dog and cat get raised as a prince and princess, which is so cute, but it doesn't say what happens to them after. I hope they're still treated well.